Good Sunday morning to everybody here in Philadelphia, Delco land, and anywhere outside that area if you want to be. Any Philadelphia fans, welcome into PM in the AM, where we're renaming it just AM and AM because it's just starting to feel that way anyway. So, yeah, Pat, that's a dig at you. Where you been, bud? TikToking away probably, but no, guys, welcome in to PM in the AM, where we try to have a little fun Sunday mornings talking sports with you. Even when things aren't going great, we have to bring the fun and levity, but also we're going to break it all down with you today. So I'm Al Zafiri alongside my buddy over here, Mike Lara. What's going on, Mike?
What's going on, Al? Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody out there this morning. Boy, did Philly sports really take it on the chin yesterday, huh? Wow.
Man, the last 2 days, man, it's been like a boxing match. You had to keep standing your feet the whole time. Blow after blow. I mean, Friday night, I should say. Friday night, you had the Duran scare, taking it off the ankle right there. Luckily, everything seems to be okay for him right now. But the big thing, Zach Wheeler. I mean, I'm trying to find the positives in it, Mike, and maybe I'm just me, being the typical homer, as some people like to call us. But the positives, they found a problem. One question people always had: "Oh, Zach Wheeler losing it? Zach Wheeler losing it?" I don't think Zach Wheeler was losing it. I always said there might be something wrong with him, but nothing structurally wrong with him. Well, obviously he has a blood clot now in his shoulder, so it helps. They know what's wrong with it. It just wonders how quickly they can get things situated and get back to the swing of things.
Yeah, and that's kind of a blow for the Phillies right now. But again, we got to wait and see just how bad it is. You knew there was something wrong. Like people were just saying, like, this isn't him. So to me, I'm going to wait and see what happens. That's the only thing we can do, really, Al, is really kind of just sit and wait and find out what's what with this. But going forward, you do get Aaron Nola back today. So that's kind of a positive. It's kind of like adding an all-star pitcher to your, rotation. So maybe if we can get, the last, I don't know, 35 plus games of a good Aaron Nola, he can help this team. Plus, you got Jose Alvarado coming, which is going to solidify the bullpen at least until the end of the regular season. And you got Alec Boehm getting ready to come back as well.
Yeah, I mean, you got some guys coming back. Wheeler's a kick in the dinghy. It's no matter how you slice it, no matter who you can bring 7 Nolas in. It's still a kick in the dinghy. Noom's jumping in here already. A whole range of Wheeler scenarios from small clot resolving in a few days with NSAIDs to DVT with aggressive thrombosis and 3 to 6 weeks recovery to traditional 3 to 6 months. So let's break this down a little bit. I was going to try to get us a doctor on this morning, but you ask a doctor on a Sunday morning, wake up at 9 a.m. It's asking a lot.
Yeah.
But talking to my medical professional friends out there, Nooms is kind of spot on here, in the sense that it depends everything on the size. How hard is it to break up? They have different ways of breaking it up, from medicines and ultrasonic ways and all that kind of stuff. If it was a different sport, I'd be a little bit more worried, a little bit. As long as it's not, as he said, an aggressive DVT or anything like that. Deep vein thrombosis, by the way, what that DVT is, where you've heard people have blood clots, and be honest with you, it can kill you if it's not checked. Like, just a little medical information. If you ever think you might have a blood clot, that's not something to let go. Okay, just fair warning. I've had in my medical world, I've had people come in. Somebody thinks I said I might have a blood clot. I'm like, well, then somebody should have told you to go to the hospital. That's something that can shoot right up and kill you. All right, so thank God they found it before something really tragically happened to him. And thank God they found it, so now we know why he hasn't been 1,000% Zach Wheeler. And hopefully, like Nooms is saying here, it's something on the smaller realm of things. And then that can be easily treated. And when he says 3 to 6 months conservatively, a lot of times it's 3 to 6 months of staying on blood thinners after the fact to keep them from coming back. Like they can break them up quickly, I should say. They keep them on blood thinners for a certain amount of time to make sure that the blood clot doesn't come back. So it really just does depend. So as the next day or two go on, I'm sure it won't be until Monday or Tuesday, and if they don't give us any more of how long it's going to be, I imagine it's going to be longer than the 10-day, Mikey, but maybe hopefully we'll know more than the 20-day.
Well, they put him on the 15-day DL now. So, yeah, so I'm looking at it like this. I think we'll know more once he gets back home, once they get back home today. Besides, the guys, if you don't know, game is on Roku today, 11:35. So it'll be an early game for the Phillies today. You figure they'll probably be back up in the area by 5 o'clock tonight. So,
Yeah.
And I think that's going to bode well for them anyway. The Mariners got to come in. They're playing a little later today. I think their game's at 1 with the Mets. So they're going to have to come in and, they're going to have to get situated. And by that time they get in, you figure they're not leaving New York until then. And not this time of year, trying to go from New York down to Philly on that parkway and 95 and the Jersey Turnpike, they may not get in until 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Or 9 o'clock tonight because of the shore traffic and stuff. So again, the Phillies right now, like you said, they got to get the win today. And to be honest with you, they kind of fumbled this series, I think, a little bit. They had a chance to really kind of put the Mets. I feel like they could have put the Mets away. With this,
fun, at least.
Right. I mean, and right now you're kind of letting them hang around. And I think it's down now to 5 again. So it's down to 5 games again. But like I said, you got Nola going today against Parker, and Parker's got an abysmal record. But again, this is a left-hander, really, that Phillies are probably going to end up having trouble with. So you just got to hope for the best. You got to hope Nola comes back and that he looks better than he did before he left to go on the stint, and that he can keep the ball down. So
yeah, and here's the thing with Wheeler. I think conservatively, I'm feeling back maybe mid-September. At best, maybe let him get a couple starts in before the Red October hits him. He's one guy I'm not worried if he didn't come into Red October and not throw at all, but at least give him a start or two before he gets in there. Noom's saying he doesn't have TOS, which is thoracic outlet syndrome, which if anybody remembers, that was the possible conversation for Markel Fultz, things like that, which is a nerve injury in the mid back area, which can be just it's painful and the cures aren't great. Actually, half the time the people I knew who've had the cures ended up having worse problems than better. We just have the Wheeler's injury is not seizing ending. I don't think it is, unless there's more. They find more blood clots. They find more something deeper. But yeah, Mike, fingers crossed. Pray, do your thing. It's Sunday morning, so get out there and pray. By the way, just to answer, to elaborate on what Mike was talking about. It is on the Roku channel, which is free. Okay, so for the people who go, I'm not paying to watch them like Apple. Roku is free. Actually, if you Google the Phillies game, how if you it brings up today's game and it gives you ways to watch. You can click on and watch it on your computer, but you can also download it on any Fire Sticks. I think Apple TV has an app for it too. Your phones do, your iPads do, all your electronic devices do. And it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You just need to maybe sign up with your email, and then you just cancel it when you're done. I've watched it on the Roku channel before. I've actually watched free cheap 90s movies on the Roku channel before. So that's the one plus about it. It's annoying you have to download another app, maybe sign up for something you didn't want to sign up for, but it is something you don't have to pay for.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't mind it. I mean, why not? Let's just go and
things are leaning that way. I mean, it's going to be a time before MLB or NFL and all them have their own channel or streaming app or whatever, and everything's going to be on there, and you're going to have to pay for that individually. I mean, it's time will tell.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's going towards it right now. I mean, that's why I'm laughing, because I'm like, what's it? ESPN's about to buy, or they're about in the midst of acquiring the NFL Network. So you imagine that, like ESPN is going to be owning that.
Well,
Uh,
they're owning parts of it, so remember that they're not getting the whole shebang. There's big parts of it, like they're getting red zone. You went, go ahead, keep talking. I'm gonna pull up the conditions on that. I was reading that the other day.
yeah, because I mean, if you're looking at some of the stuff now that they're going to be doing, and like like Major League Baseball, believe it or not, is really considering doing a like how we have Comcast Sportsnet, like it's going to be now to where like they're going to like from what I'm hearing, like some of these home I guess providers that carry the games, like now you're going to be able to like basically watch it without it. You can stream it, but like they're going to do like a package for your hometown teams. Like that's coming,
Yeah,
and that's
and
why
remember,
I'm like,
that's owned by Disney, which is owned like Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, or whatever it is. That's that's a big thing. So here's kind of the breakdown on that. And by the way, with Newman saying, I give it 50-50 chance. Has he had imaging yet? I'm guessing he did. If they found it, they usually through ultrasound they find these things. If so, then 15 day IL tells me all I need to know. If they don't know the size, then it's 50-50. But you know that I think the 15-day DL tells us a lot in that sense, and probably just being conservative too. I'd imagine it might be 2 stints on there and get them mid-September, but that's just me. What's next? MLB on Netflix? Well, maybe
get ready. I mean, if you take
MLB's on HBO Max, or
yeah.
is it? Wait, no. Hockey was. The playoffs might be on things like that. Now they're simulcasted, so you can still watch it on TV, but they get like certain things they'll simulcast. Like I think TNT, when they had basketball playoffs on, and basketball generally, it was on HBO Max. Christmas games have been on Netflix.
Matter of fact, the Eagles are on it this year. The Eagles are on it this year.
Yeah, and
Which
and don't forget they have wrestling already. So live events is not something new to them at all.
right, and what really was kind of precedent about it. I don't know if you saw the UFC deal this week with CBS and Paramount. Like that to me is going to be no more. But I'll tell you what, getting back to this Phillies team, Mike brings up here. He said they're having problems with the Nets, with the Mariners coming in. Listen, I understand the frustration with our fan base because they should have easily taken 3 out of 4 from this Nationals team. And for me, I don't want to wake the bear, but you kind of got to give them his kudos with this because they're really not hitting the ball. They're really not hitting the ball at all. And it's been like it's feast or famine. It's feast or famine with this team. And the more that this continues to go, believe it or not, it's looking more and more like Matty B is right on this. And as much as
Matty B hasn't been wrong, and neither has a lot of other people. Like Mike Papernick, I think, has been one of these guys who've been on the fact that they've been streaky, and they are streaky. And I'm going to coin a phrase that's going to piss them off, and it's baseball type phrase. I hate using it, but part of it is baseball. But this is a big problem for them that they need. Maybe it's a test, however you want to look at it. If you want to look half full, half glass half full, glass half empty, whatever you want to look at it. This team needs to be able to bounce back today, and as Mike says, you got a hard hitting team in the Mariners coming. Now you have no Zach Wheeler. You have Aaron Nola coming back today, so that means what are you going to have tomorrow?
It's going to be I think it's Ranger.
There's another guy who's ultimately.
It's Ranger, Sanchez, and Luzardo going in that series. So
can I just say something that's probably going to be unpopular a little bit? I love Ranger to death, but I think I'm done with him. I mean, the numbers are out on him. His having late. I mean, I love his energy. I love when he plays. I love when he's doing well. I love when he in the playoffs. I remember sitting right at the dugout and him trying to high five me through a net. He was so excited, but like this late season stuff, it's too much of a risk with him nowadays. Like he's definitely going to bullpen. Like I can't see. I mean, unless Nola or Wheeler can't play, or somebody just can't do the
I,
playoffs.
I don't think so. Al. I think if anybody's going to go to the bullpen, it's going to be Luzardo. I think
Well, I
he's
think
going to
both of
go.
them would.
I
Both
think.
of them would. Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though; they're not trying to bring Painter up, so it's not like But for me, looking at this coming through, like sometimes divisions are tougher to win. Just saying, yeah, I kind of agree.
Not sometimes, Dave.
They're
You're
all the time, Dave. They're
yeah.
always hard to win.
The great Tom Brady had a really easy division to play in for many years, but still, divisional games you can watch. Like how many times would he go to Miami and just lose for whatever reason? He lost at Miami. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, even how bad teams can be. If they're your divisional rivals, they know you. They play
Look
you.
at the Marlins. Look at the
Yeah.
Marlins. We take turns.
Look at the Nationals right now.
Right. Look at the Marlins, though. I'm going to bring up the Marlins because, listen, we go through stretches where, like, we'll own them for a while, for a 5-year period, and then they'll come back with a 5-year period where we can't do nothing to beat that team. So, again, yeah, I hear what Dave's saying with that, and it's really kind of true. I feel like right now it's like the Phillies are just trying to coast to October. That's what it feels like to me. Because we have not seen them play a complete game yet this year. We haven't. Like, and I don't like Maddie may call me a homer or whatever, but I've seen what this team can do when they're working on all cylinders. And I think maybe if any, maybe once, maybe twice this year, but twice is probably the tops that we see the complete game from this team this year. So I don't think so, man. I really do. To me, it just looks like they're on cruise control. And, if they're on cruise control, man, it's not going to work come the postseason.
Well,
because
you better hope they're on cruise control because if this is a problem, then that's a bigger problem. Like that's at least the cruise control means that you can do it. You're just choosing not to, versus you can't do it at all.
Right. And that's my only scared issue with going into this postseason because I think the pitching is going to be there. Ranger always has a bad second half. I mean, his numbers don't lie. His second halves are so downright brutal. Yeah, they're brutal.
They're like double his ERA usually about.
Right. But the thing is, once that calendar turns from September to October, Ranger somehow picks it back up in October. He doesn't get hit around in the postseason. He really, truly don't.
Do you think he gets paid in the offseason, like paid well? I mean, I think he's going to get a contract somewhere, but because of what people know about first half versus second half, is Ranger a Philly next year, and B, does he get paid? Or is somebody going there and pay him really more than you think he's worth?
I don't think he's a Philly next year, only because they want to give Painter the opportunity to come up here, and with Abel being traded for Duran, so you don't have him there anymore. So yeah, I would suggest that probably he's going to get his walking papers because I feel like they're probably going to try to re-sign Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah. Here's my thing is what Noom's saying too. Strom and Banks this year. Well, listen, I think Banks has been pretty consistent for the most part. I mean, he's had a couple games he got hit around. What guy hasn't so far in the bullpen? But Strom has definitely not been the Strom we're used to seeing. No. But I think in the playoffs, like so, here's my scenario. Do you move Walker and Ranger to the bullpen, right? And then you keep Luzardo as your number 2 or your number 4 starter in case you need him, and then you have Walker or Ranger who can throw. Like maybe he only goes 3 or 4 innings if they show any like very short leash on Luzardo.
Right. Yeah.
Then you have one of those two be able to come in and hit the pitch for him.
And you know what? Let's give a little kudos to Walker too, because Walker's had his last 3 outings have been really, really good. He really has, and if you think Walker
pretty for number 5 guy, now granted he's probably getting paid more outside of the paycheck. He's getting paid more than a number 5 guy should be. But he has definitely he has taken a lot of crap on the chin. Give the guy credit there mentally, like people yelling and screaming at him. Everybody, you, me included. Let's drive this moron to the airport. Get him out of my city. DFA this guy right away. I mean, he's probably heard it all. But
Ooh, man,
you know,
sorry.
it's all right, man.
Ooh.
It's early.
Ooh.
But
Coffee's not even kicking in.
But he has done well. I mean, there's not. I can't really think of a game where he got really knocked around.
Just early on in the season.
Early on, I mean, yeah, since then. I mean, since like he kind of got himself settled, I should say. And that was like April. Since April, I mean, I really think he has been pretty consistent. No more than 2-3 runs. What do you expect from a five guy?
Fifth starter.
Fifth starter. So yeah, I mean, he's been doing really well. That's what I'm saying. Like, because of Luzardo can be a little wonky, but when Luzardo's on, Luzardo's on. So maybe the playoffs either make it or break him. You bring him in the start. If he gets like 2 innings, 3 innings, maybe he throws good innings, but he throws a lot of pitches. You got a guy like Walker who can come in and throw a few more pitches, a few more innings, and or Ranger.
Yeah, and I could see them doing that. But to me, like I said, I just like the way Rangers composed in the postseason. Just in the postseason. Jose Perez says, I think we can get rid of Walker after next season. Correct? It's after this season. He's done after this year. So for me, I don't know. Like, again, going into it, these bats got to wake up. Now, I was watching something, Al, probably about 6:30 this morning going across my feeds. And, Broads, I
next season.
Yeah, I was.
He's one more year. He's $18 million tied up next season.
Okay,
I was watching UFA in 2027.
Okay, I was watching Hunter Brody this morning, and he kind of brought up something that I don't think really is being talked about too much. He said, Harper was off, and then when he came back, he goes, "We saw the little mini resurgence of Harper." He said, "But now, it's been, series after series after series, 4 at bats." He's like. He kind of brought it up, and it made me think too. Is this we're starting to bother him again? You know what I mean? Is it really starting to bother him again? Because now we're seeing him starting to drop off again. And I'm sorry, like right now, I'm not seeing really nothing besides Turner and Schwarber and JT. JT's been kind of going back and forth. Castellanos and Harper to me got to get going. They got to get going.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, there is a lot of blemishes on this team, and despite the fact that they've been able to keep their head above water and stay in first place for the most part, is a testament to this team. Sanchez must be Hamels now. There's no wiggle room. Nooms, that's I think, and also I know they just paid him. He should get if he does play well in the playoffs, they should give him some sort of bump. Kind of like they did at Barkley with the Eagles. But we'll talk about that later. Let's get to that point first. I mean, this is going to fall a lot on, and I know it's going to scare some people when I say this, on Rob Thompson. Don't get upset when you don't see guys in the lineup. Don't get upset. You do have to start at August 17th. You have to start managing guys. You have to start managing these players, and even if they're not complaining too much, you should be like, listen, Harper, just take the game off. We need you more in October. Depending on how everything plays out as well. I mean, it's just, these are things that we need to, he needs to really start doing. The health and readiness of this team falls into Topper's hands right now.
Yeah, and another thing too is like, let's, again, it's kind of making Matty look like a genius here with some of the things that he is
preaching. Right twice a day there, Mikey.
I know, but listen, what he's saying is falling really into fruition. Like, I'm sorry,
you can't keep saying that. It's like praying to the devil out loud. You can't do that, man.
Sometimes you got to give the devil his due. And if you're looking at it, like seriously, like 2 runs against this national team, your offense can't muster up 2 runs against that weak, pathetic Nationals team. No, I'm sorry. That to me, there's something else, not something else, but I mean, how is it that you can't do this? I mean, how is it that you cannot score on that team? and they were given many opportunities to score. You don't get thrown out twice at third. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So, I mean, the Phillies are shooting themselves in the foot. Again, not playing smart, fundamental baseball. And this is the message that I can agree with Maddie on. This message was not set in, spring training. They got to start playing fundamental. If the Phillies play fundamental baseball, they're going to be okay. But when you're not playing fundamental baseball, again,
yeah. Well, you see what you've been having. I mean, 5
and look,
games,
this
one
is
win.
how I feel about this. This is my shirt for today.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And listen, I said it on Friday or during the post game show. I said that team played fundamental baseball. They came up. They were disciplined at the plate. They could have been even a little bit more disciplined. And then when they struggle, that's when you start to see that normal complaints that people have about this team, about swinging for the fences all the time, swinging at things way outside the zone, like Nick Castellanos type swings.
And
Um,
I'll tell you what, one thing I saw yesterday, Al, and I know we've kind of given him a lot of crap, which is Max Kepler, but I'll tell you what, man, that dude probably put some good strokes on that ball yesterday, and it just like you want to talk about no luck. I mean, this dude's smoking the ball, and there's somebody right there.
yeah.
So I mean,
I think Noom said something like snake bitten earlier, and sometimes guys are just that way. To answer your question, Ellis, maybe they are trying to keep the 6-man rotation, but also don't forget you're about 2 weeks away now to where they can draw up some. They add 2 more guys to the roster spot, so I wouldn't be surprised. Somebody asked me, do you think Painter would get that time in September just to get a taste of baseball? He has not been pitching well. I don't see that any good about getting him coming up in here and getting shellacked.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind them bringing up Raccoons Jr. though.
Yeah.
He's been kind of laying into the ball down there in Lehigh Valley, so I would love to see that. But
Ty Walker's usually feast or famine, but he may be one of the most consistent Phillies this season. Yeah.
listen, he's been.
The man. Frank, don't you know, best voice in business, Al here. And we get the legend himself. Morning, boys. What's going on, buddy? Go Phils, sign the Schwarbs. That will be a conversation in the offseason, Frankie, with Schwarber being signed. It's gonna make or break this team in some ways. It's gonna make or break the city, I should say. I'm not gonna say if we don't sign them or we do sign them, it's gonna make or break anything. But talk about a man of consistency, and they're gonna have to probably overpay him now because they didn't do it earlier. So,
hey, look, listen, he's going to be worth every penny. Again, I hate to say it again, but age is a mf'er. Yeah, it is. Trust me, I wake up every morning.
Injury. I mean, I don't know if he could slap this title on Harper yet, but he is kind of. I mean, and some of the stuff is like dumb injuries, like it's kind of goes back to Carson Wentz a little bit. And I don't want to compare the two, but Carson Wentz had some chronic injuries, like orbital fractures and things along those lines. Like it's just little things that start to rear their ugly head after he got, remember when he got here, he wasn't supposed to DH, and he DH'd a lot because of the injury in San Diego when he hurt his wrist and everything else in between. Then he had to have Tommy John and all that stuff. Dave saying, honestly, guys, I see Cassie as good as gone. I'm not sure JT is coming back either. Just saying. I think no matter how this season rolls out, Cassie is gone. I think they're over him. I think he's a little bit of I hate calling him this, but a head case or just a guy. He's kind of we know there's a selfishness in there. There's that whole thing with Tomper having to bench him after what happened in that one game in Miami. He is. Somebody said it earlier. Feast or famine is Castellanos.
Which is
JT,
weird.
I think is back. I think JT's back.
I think JT's back too because right now they don't have nobody else that can handle that pitching staff.
And as of right now, I mean, the guy's been not really injured that much at this point. Last year, he saw some time off, but he's still running fast. He's hitting the ball pretty consistently over the last. Since June 1st, I think he's been really one of the more consistent hitters in Phillies baseball. If he continues that way and they don't have a catching prospect there, I think JT's smart enough to know that he's not going to go somewhere and get a 6-year contract. So I think you'll see him sign on for another couple of years at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I think that too. I think JT's coming back, and and it wouldn't surprise me. I love Castellanos. I've loved his game ever since he was with Detroit. I was so happy when the Phillies signed him, but to me, I feel like we're kind of missing the kind of like I was expecting the Castellanos that was in Cincinnati to come here, and we kind of got a glimpse of that, but we didn't get the full thing. Like when he was
Oh,
in
I think that's what
Cincinnati,
everybody called when they signed him.
yeah,
The Phillies.
exactly. Like I mean, he had 34 home runs, over a buck, like a buck 10, I think, in RBIs. Like that's the Castellanos I thought we were getting, and it's like he got here, and I guess he kind of carried them 2 years ago, like when they weren't hitting until the Arizona series, and then Arizona decided to start throwing everything outside, and everybody started swinging. Um, so to me, I was hoping we would get that Castellanos. Seeing that we haven't gotten it, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies try to move on from him, too. And
Well,
I mean,
here's the other part. Here's the other end of that equation. I mean, you're not losing Turner. I mean, and he's signed on for many more years, and he's no younger. You're not losing Harper. You want to re-sign Schwarber, right? Romuto, we just said most likely is back unless they have some other catching options.
oh, we got breaking news.
What's that?
Otto,
Just got off. Yeah.
Otto Kemp just got optioned. I just got the update on my phone. He just got optioned back, so I guess that's to make room for Noah.
Okay, that sucks. Not Weston Wilson.
Yeah, you would figure.
You know what? Probably he's not getting enough time playing. I think
Yeah.
that's what it is.
And plus, too,
Yeah.
he could probably go down and help the Pigs too, because they're like right in the middle of the whatchamacallit. Of course, we don't need to boost Maddie's ego.
Maddie's his own ego fluffer, Frank. We don't need to do it. It just he'll do it with or without it. It's Maddie, aka the Drew hitter. Is Maddie the Drew hitter, or is it more Pat? I mean, I remember fighting on Pat about that a lot on this very program.
Oh, all the time.
But I'm trying to remember
I believe so. I believe so. I believe.
All right.
So.
Well, actually, give me the list of who Matt doesn't hate, and then I will.
That's probably shorter.
I can put that post-it note up on the wall so I know who I'm talking about. It's a very small post-it note too. You're asking Robbie to manage and be assertive. You're joking, right? You're better off watching paint dry. I'm not saying it has to be assertive, Mikey P. I'm saying he needs to know how to manage the guys in a sense, like giving guys days off if they're try to read them without reading them, because guys like Harper may not say, hey, Rob, I need a day off, my shoulders hurt, my wrists hurt, and this is hurting. He needs to be like, you know what, Harps, I'm giving you the day off today. Maybe at least starting in September, just to break up some days with guys to give them a little bit of that. I'm not saying it's getting guys face and yell at them, but he does have to go, guys, I mean, honestly, he doesn't have to get assertive in the sense that he has to like grab guys by the jersey and just start shaking them and go, girl, you mother. No, he just that's not him. That's not Rob Thompson. But what he does need to do is all he has to do is he needs to take the guys into a locker room and show them highlights from the last 3 Red Octobers. Okay? Make them relive 2022 and feel that gut, like we tripped at the finish line moment. Make them relive the Arizona games and show them how well they were doing the first few games and how they got knocked out in their own stadium when they only had to win one game back here in Philly, when it was just like almost an automatic win at that point, and they dropped it. And then again, make them tape those eyelids open and make them watch that Mets series last year, because if they don't have it in their gut now, there's nothing that Rob Thompson's going to be able to do. Just my point of view.
Oh man, yeah, Mike, you're not lying there, man. They have been, like I said, they're not fundamental. He's saying Crawford is so consistent.
You have to just get over this, bud.
They're not bringing him up. They're not going to bring him up.
I mean, maybe do they bring him up in September, Mike, for that extra player just to give him a little taste? Or at this point, it's just like he said, if he's not playing every day, there's no.
Dude, if he's not up here by now, they're not bringing him. Like, he's not going to be a September call-up. You know what I mean? For what?
Said if he can't play then every day, it's pointless.
Right, exactly. So he's not going to play every day. So right now, the way they're doing their outfield right now, there's no room for Crawford really, and it's a shame because I feel like he's probably better than 2/3 of the outfield we have. So,
Mhm.
but it is. Noah has the ultimate chance to silence his detractors forever. I think he does too. I
Yeah,
think he does
and he's
too.
gonna he's gonna have enough 6 weeks to kind of get himself straight. So there'll be nothing to be said in the postseason in my eyes, as long as he's healthy through the next 6 weeks. For him to say, for anybody to say, well, he was injured for a long time, and he was. He missed a lot. When was the last time he pitched? Like May.
Yeah, something like that.
So, so like 6 weeks is enough time to ramp up. We all know how he is in September. All those things add up here. So it's time for Nola to nut up or shut up, as the term is used, as I use a lot. Probably not best for a Sunday morning, but it is what it is.
Don't do that because now you just perk Pat's ears up.
Yeah, right. What
What?
team would take Castellanos after this season? There's no team going to trade Castellanos unless they pick up a 3-4 contract at a prospect like Carlos Santana trade JP Crawford. I agree, Mike. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's not going to be an easy sell. I'm not expecting. I'm not expecting to get anything back in this one. I expect to maybe give up some low level prospect just to unload that contract. But I think some team would show interest in him if they don't have to pay out the nose for him.
Well,
If
here's the thing with that too. Al, he's going to be on the last year of a contract, so no matter what, no team's going to give up much for him coming out because it's only a 1 year thing. He's going to go wherever he gets
with the
traded to.
25 million he's getting,
Yeah.
he was a
So
20.
yeah, so he's going to go to a team for a year. That's it. So I mean, yes, Mike's probably right on this, but to say like if it was maybe 2 years left on the deal that the Phillies couldn't ask and get something decent back for him, yeah, they probably could, especially him coming off of the year that he had last year. Like if they would have tried to move him this offseason, I think the Phillies could have got something decent back for him. But going into the last year of a contract, no, they're not going to get nothing. You're right. You're going to get some low.
Tried to move them. I guess it depends on what they were asking for. Were they? Because I mean, it sounded like they were trying to just like get something for Bohm, and if nobody was willing to give up anything, they were going to hold on to him. So I wonder if they were taking that same stance with Castellanos.
Well, they tried to trade Bohm for Mason Miller, which, by the way, I bet you the A's are kicking themselves right about now for what they gave up for Mason Miller. Because what the Phillies offered was a much better package than what the Padres offered for Mason Miller. That's why I'm sitting there going, "Wow."
What did they offer? I never saw the offer.
I'll put it to you this way: the Phillies prospects were higher in that deal, and they were also giving them Alec Bohm, and they said no for Mason Miller. Like the guys that they got back, none of them were higher than any of the prospects that the Phillies gave up. I remember reading the about the deals with it, and I think it was in SI, and SI even pointed out they're like they would have gotten way more from the Phillies a year ago to trade him because it was supposed to be him and Rooker. It was him and Rooker coming, and it had Bohm in it. I believe it wasn't Painter, but I believe it was Abel, Crawford, and Miller. So it was those. It was the top three, and they said, "Nah, we don't want that. That's not enough." And yet, a year later, they traded them. Like all those prospects that San Diego gave up were all like they weren't even as high up as the Phillies ones was, according to the SI article. That's why I was like, "Wow!" I was shocked. But I mean, when I found out he went to San Diego.
Yeah. Frankie's saying Matty doesn't hate himself, so he's pretty much saying that post-it note I put up on my wall would just say Matty. That's it. There'd be nothing else on there.
Yeah.
It would be a person on that list. Pat hates all Philly teams. Yes, he does.
He does.
Mets. He's hurt. That's why he hasn't been on. He's been hurting because the Mets haven't been doing well. Kemp is a utility player. I guess it's time to give our third base with the second base bats to come back up with a lusty hitting. Come back with his lusty hitting at LHV. Laugh out loud. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is like I said, Kemp's not hitting. Kemp's not playing. He's been riding the bench more often than not. It's probably the main reason he went down. I don't know why Weston Wilson didn't fall into that category more, but what do I know? The Phillies send down Kemp over Weston Wilson just sums up the moronic moves and non-moves of Dombrowski. Well, again, um, maybe they feel Weston Wilson has more tread on his tire, and he's been hitting lefties better. So I guess maybe they didn't feel like that a spot for Otto, and it made sense in their eyes. I can't, Mike, I can't say I agree with it, but I guess time will tell the answer to that one. We got to fight through the rest of the way. I want the division clincher versus the Mets. Yeah, I mean, you got that series coming up, not too distant future, but they got to start hitting better. Now, listen, again, is it a divisional game? Is it, between the Wheeler situation, a lot of things going on? They need to win today. They need to win for Nola. No, they need to get a win for the Gipper in this case with Wheeler, but they also need to get Nola win and see how healthy he is throwing the ball. They need to be more disciplined at the plate. Noom said earlier there's been no walks at all yesterday. I mean, only 7 strikeouts, but no walks. But this means they're making it even easier on this. I'd rather see more strikeouts than not, because at least you're throwing extra pitches at this point, and you're working the pitcher a little bit.
Yeah, he was mowing the Phillies down yesterday.
I know it sounds cliche, but fundamentals need to be kind of what they do, Mikey. What do you think?
Yeah, again, they made it look really easy for that pitcher yesterday. They really did, and I'm waiting to see now what's going to happen. Nola is good for giving you innings. His problem is he gets no run support. That's why his record is 1-7. I'll agree to disagree with you there, Dave. Early on in his career, he got no run support. This dude was giving up 4 or 5 runs a game earlier this year. So with him giving up 4 or 5 runs, I mean, he was giving up 2 to 3 home runs a game. Like, you can't do that. And like, I watched the Phillies put up 6 runs in a start with him, and he literally went out the next inning and literally gave the game right back. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, this Phillies offense with this pitching staff, you spent 4 or 5 runs should be right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Noom said it great here. Kemp's down there because of Bohm. Wilson can play the outfield way better. So yeah, that makes point. I forgot about that. I completely forgot about, but I've literally forgotten about Bohm sometime being on this team. Mike said, I guarantee Castellanos will be starting right fielder next season. Any GM trading for Castellanos has to be blind. Mike, again, if you can get him for, I know $20 million is a lot. Maybe the Phillies have to eat a little bit of his contract, whatever it is. But if he's a DH somewhere, he doesn't have to play right field.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
but he can if he has to. He's not like he's a liability, but he's not like a huge liability in the outfield if you're not playing him every day. So I think you can unload him. You may not get much for him. You're not going to get a big time player or some big time prospect, but I think you can unload him without having to give up everything else in the process.
Oh yeah,
but there's so many. You're not. Yeah. I went through the list. Who are you getting? I mean, Kepler's probably gone. Bader, he's an option. We'll find out about that. Marsh, if he keeps playing well, he'll probably keep his left field job for the most part. They'll bring up Crawford. Maybe you re-sign Kepler, move him to right field, and you bring up Crawford in center field, of course. Stott's a bit of a question. Do they stick with Bohm? These are a lot of questions that they're going to ask, but they need to get a little younger somewhere, and Castellanos is the easy odd man out in that situation. No matter if he turns it on right now and he starts batting 600 for the rest of the season and into the playoffs, I really highly doubt that he is around here next year. If he bats 600 for the rest of the season into the playoffs, that's the best news they have for many reasons. A, that helps him a lot in the playoffs, and B, he have high stock trade value.
Yep, I was about to say that could be the best thing for him is for him to actually get hot. But again, I don't feel like they're going to get anything unless he gets hot. You know what I mean? Now, like he did back in 23 when he got hot against the Braves, he got hot. For the first part of that Arizona series. So for me, I'm waiting to see what happens with. I don't think Kepler will be back. I think Kepler himself is looking to move on and get out of this situation. I don't think he wants to be here any longer. To him, it's looking like, it was a mulligan for him signing here. So I won't see him. I would love to keep Harrison Bader. because that dude, you can put him in a corner outfield. He's fast. And if you imagine, just think of the speed that they're going to have if you bring up Crawford and Bader. You have Bader playing right field, you know, yeah, Bader playing right, or you got Crawford playing center, and then you put Marsh in left. That's a lot of speed out in your outfield, and that's not including if they probably try to bring Rojas back up. That's a guy who I think is probably going to get brought back up here, believe it or not.
You
When the
mean for
rosters,
the extra spot?
yeah,
Okay.
I can see Johan Rojas coming back up.
Oh, sure. I mean, they like the outfielders. They like to have the defense out there, so I don't see why not. Kepler's the kind of guy who, if his hard hits fall, really can make an October difference. Listen, I agree with you. Um,
They just haven't fallen for him.
I just hope he's not swinging for the fences, like, because we don't need another guy that does that. I'm sorry, just stop. I mean, if you're talking about a hard hit down the line, yeah, sure, absolutely. Whatever it is, if they can make a couple tweaks, I mean, anybody. If you put, listen, if I said anybody on this team that's not Schwarber, Harper, Turner starts hitting like Stott, who's been hitting better. He's been very much more consistent at the plate. Marsh, who has also been pretty consistent, by the way, too. If Bohm comes up and he's not, I don't care if he's hitting power. I really can give a shit about the power.
Yeah, he's got to hit doubles. We need him to hit doubles.
Just hit doubles. I mean, he's got long, lanky legs. He's not fleet of foot. If any one of those guys decide to get hot in the postseason, it could make a world of a difference across the board here.
Well, yeah, it's going to help the Phillies lineup up because Bader is on a 2-year contract, so the Phillies will have him next year. But I think,
it's a mutual option next year.
Oh, it's a mutual option. All right. Well, actually, he did sign a 2-year deal with Minnesota because he was on the Mets last year. Was Bader? He was on the Mets, so it was a 2-year deal. But I guess the second year is a mutual option. But the Phillies just got to learn to be smart. They got to start making these pitchers throw pitches over the plate, like Nooms is saying right here. So
yeah, make that pitcher work, because that's the problem. And I think somebody said that to me in one of my post games. I think it was last Friday. It might be Michael Papernick, so I'm going to give him his credit a little bit where credit's due. Nobody's really fearing a team that should be pretty feared, for the most part. Like 1 through 5 or 6 should be feared. Even 7 maybe at times, depending on who's in the lineup. Like a Bohm's back in the lineup, should be pretty feared. Should make a starting pitcher sweat, but they're not giving them a reason to sweat. They're not fighting off pitches. They're not building up the pitch count. They did it on Friday, and look how much stress they put on Mackenzie Gore, and they didn't do it. And they didn't do it 3 days before, and they haven't done it since. Like, it is mind-boggling. Bader has been around the league. My God. He's been with 6 teams. Unreal.
Well, listen, that's the answer, Dave. That's probably a good thing because Bader's been moved a lot at the trade deadline as kind of a piece you like to help win a ball club. I'll tell you what,
Minnesota sold all their assets, by the way. Just Minnesota gave their whole team away this year. They were just a complete fire sale. Yeah,
you'd be surprised how many Twins fans kind of like are rooting for the Phillies now because we have Duran, Kepler, and Bader on this team. And they also thank us for Cody Clemens, too. So, they'd be kind of happy with Cody out there.
Yeah, I mean, out there he can strive. It's just like, can he strive on a team that, is actually playoff bound? And I mean, I think listen, I like Cody a lot. And I don't want to blast him, but can he be consistent? Because he has the abilities. I really do think so. Trying to see, they still haven't. You would think by now we would have seen the lineup for the Phillies.
Yeah, I haven't seen nothing.
They start in an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. You would think a lineup would be coming out by now.
Yeah, you would think, because I'm looking on Twitter and I haven't seen it. So usually they put it up, like starting lineups, everything else.
Yeah, Adam, that's been kind of the struggle this year for this team. A lot of people's complaints come in here this way. They had 7 hits through 3 innings, but no runs yesterday. It's runners in scoring position, as well as back-to-back hits and more than just they had 8 hits yesterday, but no runs to show for it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's nuts.
they actually had one more hit than the Nats did yesterday. The Nats only scrounged up 7 hits in this situation. So it's
No
the
lineup,
first.
no lineup yet, Al. No lineup yet.
Yeah, I just looked at. I don't see anything anywhere. I'm like, it's kind of crazy that they're an hour and a half before. I mean, maybe because of Otto Kemp move. I don't know, but I don't know why that would make a big difference. But that it's an hour and a half to the game, and
All
they
right,
are.
Al. After this comment, we got to move on to our football team over here.
Yes, I know. Let me. Go ahead. Actually, real quick, why get yourself situated. I'll just remind you guys that this break, PM or AM in the AM, is brought to you by great people here at the It's a Rap Sports Network. We said his name earlier, but here he is. The final word with Matty B, Sunday through Thursday. That means tonight you get another 5 days of him telling you why you're wrong. So check it out. Matty B will bring you that day lineup with some great segments, including this day in Phillies sports history. For you sports card collectors, he does a great thing on that as well. Looks at his own personal sports cards and talks about them and talks about the value. Which, if you actually, Matt Strom does a whole thing on that too nowadays. So that's actually pretty. I feel like sports cards are making their way back. Which is something that I haven't seen in a while. The attacking third with Pat Bernard and Steve Fernandez. That's right. Steve will be carrying. That's why Steve's back hurts so much. He carries this knucklehead talking the Philadelphia Union on the attacking third every Thursday night. So check that out. The wraparound with Pat Bernard, who's ever filling in for him, usually Mike Laro at this point.
It's usually me.
Yeah, so the wraparound with supposedly Pat Bernard, but hey, 10:30 on Friday. So usually you get my post-game show followed by Pat Bernard's. It's supposed to be Pat Bernard on the wraparound, and it's back. Birds Blast is back starting August 28th. Season 6 premiere with Kyle Quinn and Matty B talking all things birds and eagles and everything of the coming week. And don't forget the Birds Flyby, which is your Philadelphia post-game show here at the It's Rap Sports Network. Preseason August 3rd game coming up this Friday, the 22nd, which is also my son's birthday. So I'm not going to be able to say it then. So happy birthday to him. And so check that out. Eagles, Jets, final preseason. Just saying, preseason games, a lot of people poo-poo, but Al Thompson for Football Story said this to me one time, a long time ago. Would you not watch a show if they put $1 million in a briefcase on a table somewhere and let 10 dudes fight for it right then and there? Because that's pretty much what preseason is. One contract, 10 guys trying to fight for it. So if you think preseason is boring, come check out the Birds Flyby. I know, Mikey, you hosted yesterday's. Great job, by the way. So we're going to get into that in a second. And don't forget, speaking of Mikey, Happy Valley Huddle. That's right. A little Penn State football post-game show coming here by Mike Laura. Mike, tell them what they're expecting on the Happy Valley Huddle.
You can expect weekly post-game coverage from the Penn State Nittany Lions. Also, going to try to get some guests on. Me and Pat have some connections with Penn State, so we're going to try to get some guests on for that, for the post game. Trying to get a hold of our buddy Bill Furman, see if he would like to join in on the post game festivities. So hopefully we can reach out to Bill one of these days and see what he wants. But yeah, it debuts on August 30th with Penn State's first game, initial game, and also Al, just to let you guys know, September 3rd, props, locks, and parlays.
Yes, just born.
Just born, literally, but
like
it's yeah, like an hour ago. We were sitting there trying to mainstream. It's basically going to be a college football, college and pro football betting. Kind of odds, and where do you see, where do you see kind of locks, and what kind of player props are you guys looking at? Because we want to hear from you guys too. Like what parlays are you playing? What teams do you think is going to pull the major upset? We do. I'm going to be doing college. I usually do 3 college, 3 pro, and then I pick a couple prop bets as far as what the lines are showing, and we talk about it. And then I kind of hold my own record with that. I go throughout the year. Sometimes I have a pretty decent year. Sometimes, it's just donating. So, but hey, it's all going to be fun. It's for entertainment purposes only. We're going to try it this year and see where we can go with it.
Absolutely. And real quick, I'm going to hit these last couple comments, and we're going to get into Eagles talk. I'm going to let Mike take it because, of course, he did a great post-game show, so he'll know it. How many double plays have they hit into this year? Don't want to know.
Too many. Too many.
The problem with the Phillies is once hitter gets hot at the bottom half of the Robbie moves them to the 4-5 in the lineup, in which certain guys are not built in those spots. I agree. Just leave them alone. Tell me why you're wrong. Telling you why. Telling you. That's what I said about Matty B. Telling you why you're wrong. And are you starting Pat Bernard's ISP GoFundMe? Maybe we should do that. We should do that for him. Gotta love it. All right, man. From an Eagles standpoint, yesterday, from what we watched, it seemed, offensively
lackluster,
big time. Couple defense. Drew Makuba is real deal in my eyes so far. So
he's your starting safety. He is your starting safety. Hands down. You only needed one game. He needed one game to show that he's better than Sidney Brown and that he's going to be playing next to Reed Blankenship. The things I took away from yesterday's game is, Dorian Robinson? He is not making this team. Kyle McCord was just so much better than him yesterday. Dorian Robinson didn't look. The way he looked yesterday, you would have never thought he quarterbacked. He looked so bad yesterday. And this was a guy who was on that Browns team a year ago and was a starter for half of the season. And he just looked so bad. Like, how does he go from being able to throw a ball to looking like he never held one? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't see this guy really making this team. But I'm going to give you two names right now that I'm liking for cornerback number 2. Cornerback number 2, I am liking either Eli Ricks or Mac McWilliams. Yeah. I thought both of them, I didn't see much of Ricks yesterday, and I said that, in the postgame. I really didn't see much of Eli Ricks yesterday, but I saw a lot of Mac McWilliams yesterday, and I'll tell you what, that kid was really good. And what's the other kid? Perry Nickerson or whatever his name was? Mm-hmm. Or, the age-old veteran. He was, he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in some of the, I guess, drills or whatever. Or not drills, but like some of the coverages. He looked pretty darn good. And, of course, the Vanilla Gorilla, man. That kid's advertised. He is as advertised. I think he is going to help out so much. That middle of this Eagles defensive line, those ends are going to eat this year because between, you got Jordan Davis, you have, Carter, but then you got Ajomo. Now, if this kid Robinson now you got 2 rounds of defensive tackles that are just going to keep coming. And I like the fact that Ojulari took a nice step yesterday, too. He looked like he was menacing yesterday.
Mike said, I like what I saw from Makuba and Campbell. Campbell's a beast, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, is it not refreshing after now a couple of years that this team who just seemed to poo-poo or pass by the linebacker position, we'll just throw whoever in there. They're not important. Now you got Zach Baun, who has really, solidified. The Trot's son looks like he could be at one point a gamer, but a great backup at this point. Campbell doing a great job. And if who am I thinking of? Who's the guy who's off the injured? Why am I just completely
linebacker?
Yeah.
It's
Georgia
Ball. Oh, Nakobe Dean.
Dean. I was completely blanked out on his name. If all 4 of those guys stay healthy and play as well as we do, that's a hell of a 4-man rotation.
It is.
The linebacker position.
I'll tell you.
Mike's saying cornerback 2 spot will be a problem.
I don't think it's going to be. I really don't, man. I like the way Eli Ricks plays his game. I think Kelly Ringo is fighting for a spot on this team. I really do, because I didn't like the way he looked yesterday, and now this is the second game in a row now. He really hasn't looked good. And I'll tell you what, the kid that they got from the Raiders, Jaquan Barrett, he wasn't half bad yesterday. He had a nice breakup yesterday going across the middle, showed a lot of speed, a lot of versatility. I think it's going to be hard for Keely Ringo to make this team because right now he's got three. Counting Barrett, the kid that they just got from Oakland, or I'm sorry, Vegas, I think he's got three guys in front of him. He's got McWilliams in front of him. He's got Rex in front of him, and now he's got the kid Barrett. So I think it's going to be hard for him unless he just stays on as a special teamer, because to me, those three guys right now are ahead of him. And I think, you know what, Al, it's been really kind of cool, too, to watch, is because, you know, the Eagles are, like, Fangio is playing the most vanilla defenses that you can see. Like, I don't know if you caught it yesterday, but they actually did a 3-4 yesterday a couple times in that game where they moved Ty Robinson out to the end and then had the two edge rushers. So they had three in the middle and the two edge rushers. So I don't know. My thing is this. I'm going to ask you a question. I said this yesterday on the post game. I don't know if Josh Uche makes this team. I don't think he makes it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because what I saw yesterday, I saw Ojulari bending, getting pressure. He was getting pressure on Dylan Gabriel, probably, you know, a decent amount of pressures. He actually ended up getting a sack. But I saw no pressure coming over from Uche's side.
Real quick, just so you know, this popped up on my feed, so I wanted to. It's not Eagles, it's Phillies, but so the full announcement of the whole who's moving up and down. So right-hander Aaron Nola was returned from his rehab assignment, as we noted. Third baseman Alec Bohm was also returned from his rehab assignment. And infielder Otto Kemp was optioned Lehigh Valley, and Cal Stevenson was released. So there was that little piece of information that we didn't know about. So there's that.
I didn't even know he was still a part of the organization.
Well, he's down in the minors.
Oh, not no more.
Mm-mm.
Did you see?
They can always re-sign him. That shit happens all the time. So God only knows.
Well, you see what happened. They released Buddy Kennedy, right? They released him, and Buddy Kennedy goes, "No, I'm not signing back here with you." And I think he ended up signing a minor league deal with, I think, Syracuse. I think it was either Syracuse or one of those.
Well, listen, you know when there's a log jam. I don't think it's anything personal, but you know when there's a log jam and you're not going to get a chance to break the scratches, so you need to maybe go to a team that's not as good, like a Twins team, like, you know, and go to a place where you can at least show off a little bit. There's a plus minus to it. Noom say, I really wish people would accept Sid Brown and Keely Ringo for what they are and embrace its FFS.
Well, I mean, it is. I mean, look, Sidney Brown's listen, I'm not saying that there's no
F's sake.
Yeah. I said yesterday on the post game, there is use for a guy like Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown is downhill, you know, trying to come take your head off. There's packages you can use him for. But to think he's going to start, no. You need a kid like Makuba. And Makuba showed yesterday. I mean, dude, that interception was unreal. He literally was in between two Browns and then ran it back for 80 yards. And then on the fumble, he was the only guy that knew that the ball was on the ground. He was the only guy that knew that ball was on the ground. So, yeah, you need a ball. What was the one thing we kept saying about, you know, the Eagles secondary? You know, they needed a ball hawk back there. Now they got one. Now they got two. Between DeJean and Makuba, our secondary is going to be kind of hard to throw against. And it's not out of the realm of possibility to have a really good young secondary. I mean, just look at last year. We had two rookies really after week 4 starting. I mean, Quinyon Mitchell started the whole year. So you got Q on one side. You put Eli Ricks on the other side. You give him some safety help. You know what I mean? You got Coop playing the slot. You know, and then you have Reed and Makuba in the back. I mean, they're gonna be okay. I really do. Like you know, some of these other fan bases are really looking at the Eagles going, oh well, you know, they got a bunch of young players. We don't know if they're gonna, you know, we don't. But
last year they had rookies looking like actual veterans. Cooper DeJean,
Quinyon Mitchell. Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, like I said.
Zach Bond, he's not a rookie, but guess what? Zach Bond
was a special teamers. He was
He
a
was a
special team
special
guy.
teamer. He was passed around the league like a joint at a Grateful Dead concert. He just and look at the guy. He didn't just like come in and like, all right, I'm going to help. He came in and took the job and got a contract for it. Like the man, the man give maybe maybe he's a bit of a defensive whisperer. I don't know what it is, but how can anybody sit there? I mean, maybe you need some. Maybe everybody needs something to hang their hat on. Maybe that's what it is, Mike Lauro. But how you can look at this team after what they did last year with what they did it with last year, look at the moves that they made in the offseason and what and the kind of, it brought in they picked or second to last pick, I should say, in the draft this first round, and they were still able to bring in
John Campbell,
John Campbell, which people
was
let him slide because they thought he wouldn't be ready to go, and it looks like he's going to be ready to go outside of barring any upcoming injuries.
Now listen, there's one person I really truly want to make this team, and that's Darius Cooper. I hope I don't want them to put him on the practice squad. I want this kid to make the team. I think he's outplayed everybody. I really do. I think he's outplayed anybody in the wide receiver, even Anelia Smith, who has a couple touchdowns. I want to see this kid Cooper really, really make the team as maybe your fourth or fifth wideout. I think the Eagles are going to keep at least 5 wideouts this year. So I would love to see the kid get it. I think it's going to be the 3 that we have, and then you're looking at probably Mathis, and then I hope they keep the kid Cooper. I really do. Because to me, he's really busted. He's been a great story in camp, and I would like to see him just literally, make this team. I think he's been a standout, and I think he deserves to make the team. He would be a type of guy that you would release, and he would come back and haunt you for releasing him.
Listeners, the team's going to have a lot of tough choices to make. I mean, there's some guys that are straight out like, all right, he's just not ready, or he's just not going to be able to hang with anybody else at all. But for the most part, the team, it's a good problem to have. But for the most part, this team's going to have a hard time picking guys who are going to be able to play and contribute and not lose out on somebody like you just mentioned.
Yeah, and I feel like Adoree Jackson's probably not going to make this team. I just haven't seen enough from him in these games.
Who's the other guy who's picked up?
Bennett
from the Raiders.
Oh yeah, I think he makes the team. He makes the team. Yeah, I think he does. He's one of my 3 guys that I had him, Jaquan Barrett, Eli Ricks, and Mac McWilliams. I think those guys can definitely all vie for that number 2, and I think they're all going to make it. But what I'm saying to you is, looking at this game like this, like Adoree Jackson to me, now the only thing I think that would keep him on this team is he is versatile. You can play him at nickel corner, but he could also drop him back at safety. I saw yesterday, played a lot of safety yesterday, did Adoree Jackson. So maybe that might be something where they're looking at, maybe he might be backing some guys up or something, but I don't feel like he's a starter. Maybe his versatility between, safety and corner might be able to keep him. So,
yeah, listen, like I said, a lot of tough choices to make. Just, again, to segue to the Phillies just for a minute. Dave is right. The lineup is up. The lineup is in, and Bohm is in that lineup. So right now you got Turner starting off. Schwarber's still at second. I got him at – I'm sorry. You got to move him out of that 2 spot, but what do I know? Harper third, Bohm fourth, Cassiano at fifth. All right. Bader sixth, Wilson seventh. Oh, they have Wilson in left field today. Stott, second base at 8 spot, and then Marshawn's catching today in the 9 hole, and of course Aaron Nola.
Yeah, what is up with that? You've been noticing with that, man? I think JT hasn't been catching Noah a whole heck of a lot. It's been Marshawn catching him. Ryan, what's going on, buddy?
Where's going, bud? It's good to talk to you. You may see Romano gone with Jose Alvarado back. Can you get rid of anybody like that you may use in the postseason or at all in the next 6 weeks for Alvarado? Because he's not going to be here in the playoffs. Can you get rid of anybody like that? I mean, you could send somebody down who can go down and come back up versus, DFAing or letting somebody go. I think Jackson gets cut and Howie trades for somebody. Joey Sullivan, what's going on, bud?
What's
I
up,
I
Joe?
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think there's
You
gonna
know
be
what?
another signing. Not
Listen,
a
Justin.
not a big signing, but a decent
Uh,
signing.
I think Justin Simmons is still out there, right? He hasn't signed with anybody. So if he does cut Jackson, like I said, if he does cut Jackson, Joe Ross, that is definitely like that right there would be the guy I would let
I
go.
mean, I'm not sitting here trying to pump up Romano or anything, but Joe Ross over Romano is an easy decision there in my eyes.
Yeah.
Especially because Joe Ross is more of an innings eater guy, and as we get to the playoffs, you're not going to need him to eat innings. So, need another veteran safety to start besides Blankenship. Allow Makuba and Brown to work themselves into it that over the years, not be forced into. Definitely a veteran to start besides Blankenship. I don't. It won't work weekly consistently. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, the kids around the ball. I don't know about that, Ryan. I can see them bringing in a. I can bring him. I can see them bringing in a veteran, but um, like I said, Simmons won't be the choice.
Listen, I have my listen. Everybody talks about Simmons like he's like Jesus. Well, why is Jesus out there not being signed by anybody? Is he asking for too much? I mean,
No, I can tell you what happened
year.
with that. I can tell you what happened with that last year. Last year, they called them the super safeties down in Atlanta because it was him and Jesse Bates playing side by side. And I'll tell you what, he had a lackluster year, did Justin Simmons. He had a lackluster year last year. So that's why he's still sitting out there. I still think he can come in here and help this defense out. You put him next to Reed, and if you want to make sure that Makuba and Sidney Brown are kind of, maturing, getting themselves together, that's fine. You bring them in on a 1-year deal. Like Justin Simmons for a 1-year deal on this defense is going to be okay. You got to remember, too, Atlanta had no pass rush last year. They were so bad. Like, he's out in coverage for 5-6 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, they had no pass rush down there other than Grady Jarrett. That's it. That's the only guy that they had rushing. And I mean, they brought in Matthew Judon last year, and that guy was on a milk carton for the Falcons a year ago. So
The Falcons are the kings of the super teams in my eyes. And what do I mean by that is not they just bring in and overpay guys and try to snap them together and force round pegs into square holes type situation.
Yep.
And I think that's the problem.
That's kind of what happened. Like I said, you had they called Atlanta secondary last year the super secondary because of the two safeties. They went out and signed Jesse Bates the year before, via free agency, gave Jesse Bates a ton of money. Then they brought in, Justin Simmons last year, and it just didn't work. They had no pass rush. If it was, they brought in Matthew Judon. If you remember, they traded for him. They got him out of New England right around this time last year. They traded for Matthew Judon, and it was supposed to be him and Grady Jarrett. Oh man, they're gonna wreak havoc on lines. Well, Grady Jarrett had a decent year, but Matthew Judon disappeared on the back of a milk carton. And again, go back and watch some of their games from a year ago. Watch how they played towards the middle of the season. From the middle of the season on, like they were getting torched. I mean, they were just bad. Like that whole secondary was just god awful, and you had two all pros.
Coaching makes a difference. I'm putting it out there. Coaching makes a difference, and I'm speaking as a coach. Good coach, you have great players, but not good coaching or game plans or leadership, and it can make a big difference.
Now, see, I disagree with Mike here a little bit. You're not going to move Cooper DeJean inside. You're not going to move him to the outside. I mean, that's not his game. His game is in the slot. That's where you want to keep him. That's his strong point. This is why I'm saying you leave Cooper in the slot. You leave him in there. That's his game. That's his area. He's good between the hashes. You don't want him playing outside coverage. Okay. You leave that for a guy like Eli Ricks, Mac McLaurin, or the kid Jaquan Barrett. Okay. They're the ones that you leave in there, man. And I'll tell you what, To me, you got to keep Coop there because Coop's like Ryan's saying, Coop Regine you can use as a Swiss Army knife. And think about this for a second.
They
You're using
they love him like Malcolm Jenkins. Like they love
right,
that.
exactly. He's going to do exactly what Malcolm Jenkins did for us. He's our Swiss Army knife. But then, if you take a look at it too, you also have, if you bring in a Makuba, if Makuba does win the starting job, now you got another Swiss Army knife, and he's a ball hawk. So now you got two people that are around there, and then you got Jahai Campbell. Yeah, Jahai Campbell, lurking around, being what he's doing. I love exactly how this defense is starting to build itself up. Like I said, Al, if you're looking at the defensive line right now, you have Nolan Smith on one side, Jalix Hunt. They're probably going to be your starters. Behind them, you literally got, you got the combination of. I think Patrick Johnson's going to make this team too. I think he's going to be a contributor because he does play special teams. So I think Patrick Johnson, you have him back. After his brief stint up in New York, you're going to have Ojulari, okay? And if they do decide to keep Uche, okay, now you got 5. So to me, that's what I'm saying. Like you have those right there. And then you got in the middle, you got Carter, Jordan Davis, Vanilla Gorilla, and a Jomo. Like that's going to be a really hard, like they're going to give offenses fits.
Listen, I think this defense is going to be elite again, top 5 easily. Maybe not to start, especially with new guys. It's going to take a little time to listen. Every year we say the same thing, and I feel like people forget. And that's why when people start freaking out in the first 2-3 games of the season that team sucks or teams are good or bad. Like last year, the Saints people thought were going to be like the team to beat for whatever reason, and
after 2 weeks,
they caught 2 teams in the beginning that were. Caught them off guard. They came out and hit them harder. They weren't ready for it, and that was it. But after that, with the whole thing we like to refer to as reality sets in. So I think after week 5, 6, maybe 7, they'll be top 5 and stay there for most of the time, the whole time.
And now, can I've been talking about this, and Mike's saying, so who's the number 2 corner? Right now, Mike, if I'm leaning Eli Ricks. Do I think Jaquan Barrett has a chance to overtake that? Yes, because I love his speed. If you watched the game yesterday, I don't know, Mike, if you saw it, would it being from up there, but I'll tell you, I right now, my 3 guys that are really kind of leading the way, like I said, is Mac McWilliams, Jaquan Barrett, and then Eli Ricks. I mean, those 3 are all really right there, neck and neck. So, again, Kelly Ringo, to me, has fallen off. Okay. Adoree Jackson, to me, I feel like the way they had him set up yesterday, he's more of a safety valve at safety than he's going to be at corner. He can line up and play corner, but I don't think they're going to use him at corner. I mean, you saw what happened when they put him up against T. Higgins, all right, in the first game. Adoree, I don't think he's cornerback speed anymore. I think he's more safety speed. And I think that's why you saw him get moved to safety for yesterday's game. So I'm looking at him that way. For my number 2, though, I'm telling you, it's going to be between those 3 guys. I don't think Ringo has a shot. I think I would be surprised if he makes the team. I really, truly do. Other than he plays really good on special teams. That's the only way I see him making this team this year. I really do. So, and to be honest with you, if you're really looking at it too, like Mac McWilliams came out of nowhere. This is just a kid, doing really well in in camp. They traded for Brister or Jaquan Barrett. They traded for Barrett. Then they have, Ricks wasn't even mentioned. If you really think about it, like nobody was bringing up Eli Ricks at all. And he was on this team last year and played pretty damn good last year. In his limited roles. So, again, I feel like the way going forward, I felt like Eli Ricks really got the benefit from Slay, who was often injured last year. Like, there was a lot of games, dude, Darius Slay had to come out. So a lot of people forget that. Now, Slay was good when he was in there, but there was a lot of times he got banged up and had to come out, and Ricks had to come in. Ricks was that guy coming in. And I feel like he's there to take over. I think Ricks will take over I think he'll be the starter between him and Jaquan Barrett. I think it's between them two, and that's the only reason I say that is because Howie traded for him. Howie's not going to send a guy out there and trade for a guy because Booker was well liked here. So they felt like they could send Booker out to Vegas for this kid. So he's going to give him every opportunity to try to win that job. But then I look at it like this, Al, as we're going forward, even if they keep Mac McLaurin, they can. If somebody ever tries to go 5 wide on the Eagles, they got 5 corners that can cover. I'm just liking the way these kids are playing, and that's who I'm thinking right now. If I had a leader, it's Eli Ricks right now, followed right behind him, like I said, by Barrett and McWilliams. And those 3 guys right there. If either 3 of those guys start, I'm not going to have an issue with it.
And the other thing about it, I'm trying to remember. Is it Eli Ricks? I'm trying to remember.
He was undrafted.
I want to remind everybody, he's 23 years old, undrafted. He's young. I don't think the Eagles are going to give up on Eli Ricks very easily. It's going to take him to really either fall off the face of the earth, get toasted too much. But 23 years old, and he's already, 2 years in the system with us?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's 2 years he's already got at 23 years old. Imagine when this guy's 24, 25. I mean.
Yeah, he's going to have a ton of experience. And, I mean, like, they kind of threw him in. Bruce Harper, do you feel we will bring Painter? Nope. No. Painter has not looked good. Painter's going to stay down in AAA. I don't see him coming up. I don't see Crawford coming up either, which we kind of hate. But,
yeah.
All right, now, we ready to take this home?
We're ready to take it home.
All right, question. What's the meal of the day for the Safiri family?
Stadium food for big guy today. I'm actually I'm going to be taking some minor league baseball today. So it's great that the Phillies started at 11:30, so I get to watch that for a little bit. But ultimately, I will be going to the Wilmington Blue Rocks game, but they're taking on the Phillies affiliate, AA affiliate, the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. So, of course, I'll be blue clawed out. I ordered a hat 3 months ago, and it still hasn't got in. So, MILB store, you're on my crosshairs right now. You know me, I love the blue claw crab, dude. It's my I love that. I love our minor league guys are great. Like, I love our teams, but
just be careful with saying crab. Pat's ears just perked up when you said crabs.
Yeah, his antibiotics start to kick in automatically.
Right.
But yeah, so I will be taking in a little stadium food today with the family because you know what? For those who don't know, like I try to go up to Allentown too and grab some Iron Pigs games if I can. But best seats in Wilmington's $20. Best seats in Iron Pigs is like $17.50 or something like that. I'm literally sitting directly next to the Blue Claws in the first row. Like,
well, you get to see Aiden Miller, right? Aiden Miller's up there, right? Ain't it? Or is he at Reading now?
I think he's in Reading, but hold on, I'll tell you right now.
I know he was up there, but yeah, you know what? I love minor league baseball. Believe it or not, a lot of people knew I was out for work. I was in Harrisburg, Hershey area, and I was actually thinking about going over to the Harrisburg Senators game until I saw the way the traffic was going down there, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with that. Because like their stadium is on what they call City Island out there. It's like a little bridge that you got to go over. So
look at their starting lineup from yesterday because they haven't put out today's.
No, Miller's he's at Reading. Joe Hamilton.
John Spikerman is maybe a name. Arun Escobar is on this team, so I'm going to try to get myself an Arun Escobar signature, maybe.
There you go.
I'm trying to see who else is on here that people may know. Joel Dragu or something is a guy I've heard a little bit. And Ryan Dromboski was a starting pitcher yesterday. So he was the guy that people have heard of a little bit too. But Jordan Disson is as a catcher, but he's not really a big time name. But so Arun Escobar, if he plays today, would probably be the biggest name that most people know.
Cool. So Al's going to be stuffing his face with hot dogs. And
my best Pat impression today.
Well, it must be a thing because I'm actually doing chili dogs today. So, guys, make sure you tune into our TikTok. Me and Pat have been really kind of showing our Sunday meals as we talk about. Pat's probably having pasta or some sort of form of pasta. So make sure you guys tune into that and make sure you tag the show PNM and the AM on your TikToks. So we put it up. My lovely wife has made an appearance probably twice now. So I feel so bad because she's like, you keep showing me when
I'm gonna have some stuff from the game today. So
look for that. Do that, and definitely we should definitely do a PNM and the AM kind of get together. I think maybe we should do like a Blue Rocks game or something like that because Wilmington's 20 minutes away from us, so. You know what I mean? Let's we can talk more about that on the other side of that. But guys, for the big guy, Al Safiri, I am Mike Lauro. We will see you guys next Sunday. Again, Matty B on the Fighting's Final and also back tonight with the final word. So make sure you tune in for him today. We're out, guys.